Okay, so I think it was back in the fall, November sometime, we got the idea to build this truck, and it is now March, and I'm actually really happy with the amount of progress that we've done so far. It goes to show how quick a restoration can go compared to like a complete custom build like the F350. Super stoked that the vision that we had back then is coming together, and man, this is a good episode. Here we go. To roll the frame up from underneath and then just roll this underneath.
Rich, this is the roughest one yet.
No, it's fine.
No, it's the roughest one yet.
No, it's not. It's fine. Okay, so the roof, the issue is all of these cracks. Figured before we put it back on the frame and raise the thing up, we'd do as much work as we can to it while it's nice and low. Wow. What do you think?
Looks dope. Looks so good.
He's not as confident as when he pulled up with his truck running and mine wasn't.
We got a race for ownerships?
See the gap though?
Very nice, yeah.
In the front too. This was hitting the front.
Yeah.
We grinded that down too.
Oh, very nice. Sad to see it go?
Happy to see
for sure. Yeah. Oh, it looks really good. In the sunlight, I love the way it sparkles.
Customers keep calling it root beer. I don't know why.
I kind of get it, because it's not burnt orange and it's not charcoal, like it's not a copper. It's kind of in between, but the root beer kind of does.
And then we get some people, you trying to make Optimus Prime's brother? I think the chrome straps on the tank is going to be the best feature.
Yeah. What did you guys do? You guys did a bunch of fiberglass work in the front?
Yeah, they were all broken.
Yeah. And then fixed a bunch of gaps.
Yep.
And then
changed the lowers. Yeah. The entire truck was primed 3 times. That's not even 3 times.
Ask you guys to stand this out.
I'm not quite sure if we wanted the caps done, but we did.
Yeah, I think so.
They were blasted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. Beauty.
Where we got it, Aaron?
Okay, let's not. So I gotta tell you, it's a lot more nerve-wracking driving it home than it was driving it there. It's not that I haven't had a $20,000 trailer behind me, it's that it feels like a $20,000 egg, and if I do something just slightly wrong, we're gonna crack the egg and it's gonna be really expensive. I got about half hour to go, and I'm gonna enjoy when I'm home. Here we go. So we made it home. The cab stayed on the trailer, and figured before we put it back on the frame and raise the thing up, we'd do as much work as we can to it while it's nice and low. So we got Ian back.
How's it going?
Yeah, good. What do you think?
It's an absolutely stunning paint job. You guys did a great job on it, and it would be a shame if somebody covered up with some vinyl now. But don't worry, it's going to look fantastic. We're going to do a great job on it.
Nice.
Came up with a really cool design over the last couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We were going to wrap the whole thing, but you were complaining about the rivets.
Yeah, so with this many rivets, doing the whole cabin in a wrap would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
they told me with this many rivets, the paint job was a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
Can't win.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, so as we said earlier, when you're doing trucks like this, they usually have a lot of rivets, right? So this truck has a lot of rivets. Now when you're wrapping vinyl on top of it, it kind of creates a challenge because you've got this thing that, you know, a little bulge on it that the vinyl, a flat sheet, has to go across, and that can kind of make it a bit of a pain. So when you go to install them, you know, you just lay your panel flat, squeegee the vinyl down, and around the rivets, you just kind of make little, well, the technique is called tenting. So you tent around it, and now you have an air pocket. Of course, I can't push that air pocket out anywhere, but that's okay. You leave it like that for now. That just makes sure that you don't have any wrinkles that form. So that would be kind of like the first step. Now we'll move over to these ones. It's kind of push down a little bit further. So now these ones have been tented a little bit tighter. It's also got a seam right here because it's a little doorway, right? So you gotta tented them down. So now you know that there's not gonna be any creases in the vinyl. Now once it's at that stage, so we use a heat gun, and I have this thing called a Rolly Pro. It's amazing to use if you're gonna be doing rivets, because what it is it's like a squishy foam roller, and it allows you to go over top of the rivets, push it down nice and evenly, and then you don't get any wrinkles. So I did that over here, and you can see you got nice clean edges around the rivets. Now on this side as well, you can see I haven't quite pushed them in all the way yet. So what you do at that point is you heat them up a little bit, and then you take your squeegee and you can just push in the edges around the rivet. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind though is you have that air pocket there, right? So in order to release that air, you just have to make a tiny little hole nearby to release that air. So you can use a knife. They have little pens with a needle on the end of it that you can use, but you want to obviously keep it in an area where it's not going to be very visible. So once you got your hole, you heat it up a bit, and then you can push this air around the rivet to that hole and have a nice clean rivet. And there you go. And then you go through it and afterwards just make sure that all of them are nice and clean. So it takes a little bit of extra time, but it gives you a much cleaner job. If you're doing, you know, commercial graphics or a large 18-wheeler, these are good because material, you just poke a couple holes and you can whip it up and down the rivets and it pushes it in. But because we're doing, you know, a nice truck, we want to go through and do each individual rivet and make sure it looks perfect.
A little different.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, that looks good. He's not as confident as when he pulled up with his truck running and mine wasn't.
That turned out nice though.
Turned out really nice. Hopefully we'll have it done. I have 6 weeks to get it on the road.
We got a race for ownerships. Best I can get a 480 horse out of mine.
Yeah, that looks fantastic, man.
I'm very happy with it as well. I made a couple of changes, right? Got rid of the white that we're gonna do. We still have a couple things that we have to finish because it's late already. But yeah, no, I'm loving it. I'm loving the material choice.
And the rivets work out okay? You're confident in them?
Yeah. So at first I was a little bit worried about the rivets just because, you know, rivets are always gonna be a pain. But these ones weren't too bad, and I think that's probably because you said that you cleaned them, right?
Well, we sandblasted the whole truck, and then I thought the rivets were aluminum, so I'm like, I'm okay. And then it rained, and then all the rivets started rusting. So I'm like, so then they had to sandblast the rivets again, and then they sanded them like 4 times and complained immensely about it. But I think it is worth it if you've got rivets. You have to do it. You have to sit there and.
Whether you're wrapping it, painting it, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a definitely good idea.
Right on. So I am going to keep moving. I'm going to throw it back on the frame because I got to get the trailer back. So you'll have to finish it up off of scaffolding, but at least you got the majority of it done.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, we'll see you whenever you make it back.
Thank you so much again for another awesome project.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Minerva Visuals on Instagram. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. If you have any questions, I mean, I'm happy to answer people's questions. You know, if you need assistance with wrapping, let me know.
Okay, Adam's back. I figured before we put the cab back up in the air, we got to put the glass back in. That'll actually help give it some rigidity too when we lift it up. I think I'm just going to pick it up with one forklift and try to jam it in place.
And we're upside down, it's just the other side.
I thought they would be identical.
No.
They're not. No glue on the paint.
No, we're just gonna be gentle and try and get this into its groove. Oh, yeah. Beautiful, look at that.
That goes much better. Oh, yeah.
This will tighten up once that lock ring's in. I think
Yeah,
it will tie up that. Anyhow, let's inject the edge here. We're about to put the lock ring back in. So you seat it into the groove and then you use this to seat it in place.
Looks great, man. You happy?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, we got that glass cut perfectly and it lined up and everything's centered and the lock rings and it's not going nowhere.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it seems a little more.
it's more rigid, definitely. But you're gonna need something there, definitely, to take up
I
that.
think we'll brace it up the back.
Yeah,
there
you're putting
somehow.
roll cage in here, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Take
see ya.
care. See you.
Okay, so Amazon to the rescue. We got some nice new door handles with no lock cylinders. I got the lock cylinders in the old one, but I don't have the key for it. So I'm gonna run to Phil across the road. He said one of his keys worked, so I'm gonna try that. And if it does, then we'll just make a copy. I went to Traction. I got the part number off the rear handles. So they were only $10 more than Amazon ordering the front ones there. So we'll have the nice shiny ones for in the back there and there. I gotta get the mirrors. Can't get the bracket that holds the mirror. That's specific to Kenworth, and then a universal mirror. So they're only $40 for the light heated. So that's pretty cheap. I got air horns on order, and we got all new cab lights from Amazon too. 5 lights for $100. That's not bad. All LED. I got new lights for the side here. Those were LED, and then we'll order a whack of lights for the back of the truck. We'll do red on the back and actually red on both sides. Red on both sides would look a lot slicker. So I might order all red lights in the bar because it'll light up the back of the cab and then it'll light up this giant tank. Can you imagine it? Tank's gonna be right there. So track. tank on a trailer at a show, all lit up in red. Okay, we're at another record. One of the other Kenworth cab overs left in Canada. And Phil's already grabbed a bunch of stuff out of the dash, but we're actually taking this piece. Although I think somebody's cut this. Radio's there, but it's cracked here and here, and that's missing. Ay. What do you think, Aaron? I don't know if it's worth it. Okay, so when I was pulling the cab off, I was super nervous about pulling the cab off, and I didn't notice that this part of the bracket was broken. Now this is a cast piece, so I cut it off, took a grinder, protected all the paint, cut all this off, and just made one little slit on that end and knocked the bracket off. Then I cut the pin out. We got this one from that cab over at WG's there, but the bushing was also toast. So I had to make my own bushing, because these are like $700. I wasn't going to pay $700 for that. So I got leftover bushings from my cab. These are polyurethane and nice to work with, actually. So I just took a hole saw and cut the center out, which is this. And that was the perfect size for my inside collar. And I had to machine a little lip on the outside of it so that it stays in place. So there's actually a ridge on this side. And now I can punch my pin back in there again. So I never seized that up. We'll pound that through. Got a nice little taper on that side, so it should slide in. And then we've got a brand new hinge on there. Brand new bushing, nice and tight. Here we go. Like a glove. Oh, fantastic. No play. I love it. To drill that out because I mashed it over with a hammer, but no worries. Okay, so it's been incredibly stormy here today. So this tarp blew off, and that is my sign to do something with the engine. So take the strap off. Now, since we did the whole frame, we also have our fuel tank painted. I did replace every line on the Caterpillar itself, every fuel line, air line, naturally, because V&R makes lines so they can cover that side of the bill. So it's easier to put the cab on without the engine in it, and it's just sitting in there. I thought maybe I would get around to making the drive shaft and getting into the transmission, but I haven't done that yet. So, take the tarp off. I got Kevin's forklift and Phil's extend-a-boom, and then we will boom this out, roll this in, and then boom the cab back on again. Okay, so when I took the cab off, I used the forklift in the front and a forklift in the back. Kind of a pain because at the back you got to come off to the side because I got to roll the frame out and you can't have the forklift in the way. 2 forklifts, 1 operator is kind of So I grabbed Kevin's forklift again. I had to use that to boom up the 3406. But I think just because I have my beam here, this is supporting underneath the frame rails here where there's lots of meat. And the entire cab sits on these pins anyway. So this whole frame right down to this point supports the cab anyway. So if I stick a bar here across and go on top of that bar and underneath here, it'll be really heavy at the back. It'll want to tip, but then it can't tip because it's going to hit the bottom of the forks. Then I can just pick up the whole thing from the front here. And it should be fine as long as this 2x6 doesn't snap. Cab weighs about 1,300 pounds, something like that. Forklift's good for 3,000, 3,500. It'll be fine just because it's hanging out over the edge. It's either gonna go really, really well or really, really terrible. I don't know. I just picked up these sweet blankets from Princess Auto. I'll throw those over the forks so we don't scratch any paint. Probably won't even smash the windows in. Here we go. I don't know what to say. That is just perfect. I can't believe it, honestly. Wow. Goosebumps. Wow. Anyway, I'm gonna bolt that hinge down, push it inside for the night. We got ourselves a freaking transport truck. What do you think?
Looks dope. Looks so good. That's right. I didn't realize I was on camera already. Let me.
Okay, so this is the ladder off the side. I'm just doing a quick Coke and SOS cleanup on the stainless and on the aluminum. Just a quick orbital with 220 on there just to get the scum off. I'd like to polish these much nicer because the truck definitely deserves that. But I got to pick my battles right now because we really got to keep moving. Otherwise, we're not going to get it to show. So learning from the GTO. Spending too much time polishing something and then not being able to test drive it. I don't want to get caught with that, so make it look good from 10 feet away, throw it on. We're not sponsored by Coca-Cola, so...
It tastes better anyway, right?
I do not like pop or soda. If somebody watching Coke thinks I look good drinking a Coke, by all means, bossgarage@gmail.com. The design is not done yet. I am gonna move the tanks forward, make another fairing to line up with the tanks, and we're gonna chrome the snot out of this thing. So that will be the next videos coming up. Chrome is almost done. We've come a long way, but we got a long way to go. Here we go.